So first, tell us a little bit about, we're here at Mississippi College. Tell us a little bit about your connection with Mississippi College, you being someone that lives in Mississippi.
Well, I live in Mississippi and have a lot of friends that go to Mississippi College, but Anthony Thaxton's got his place here, and he invited me up. So I'd love to, talk to Mississippi College students and see some of the people up here. So here I am, ready to go, MC.
Is Mississippi a place you've called home in the past, or is this something you just recently moved to?
I grew up in a town called Prentice, and then I went down to Southern Miss and played football and graduated at USM. And when I left there, went out to Hollywood, stayed about 21 years, and moved back to Hattiesburg, where I went to college, where I got a lot of friends.
And that's obviously an interesting part of your story of coming from here and going to Hollywood and appearing in all these different movies and TV shows. I want to ask you a couple questions revolving your film career. Tell us a little bit about you've worked with Clint Eastwood, you've worked with Mike Nichols and Oliver Stone. Can you tell us some of those moments and how it was working with those directors?
Well. Mike Nichols, of course, Academy Award winner, and Silkwood, and that's with Meryl Streep. So I ended up in a scene with Meryl Streep and Cher, which was pretty interesting and fun. And Mike Nichols was a really easygoing sort of guy. And then you get with Oliver Stone, who's a very demanding guy. He wants it his way or no way, and he will direct you and push you and change it. And he was a little different piece of work. Now Clint Eastwood directed me in a thing called Honky Tonk Man, and he's really easygoing as a director. He hardly directs. He just sets up the shot and lets you do what you want to do, and I got to put a revolver up in his face and his nose and tell him I was going to blow his head off, and it was all a joke, and he laughed, and of course Clint Eastwood's still around. And we were walking to the set, and a lot of people show up to get Clint Eastwood's signature. They had a barricade out there to keep people from coming on the set. There were so many people. And as we're walking to the set, somebody yells out to me, "They're not going to call." And I knew what they were saying. And Eastwood looks at me and says, "What's that?" I said, "I don't know." And then another guy says, "They're not going to call." Then 10 people are yelling, "They're not going to call." Well, I knew what it was. I had done a commercial for California Savings Bank, and we were talking about, are they going to call us and give us a loan? And in the commercial I go, "They're not going to call." And it really caught on. So people all over California, Nevada, and Arizona, where it was running, would look at me and go, "Hey man, they're not going to call." So that was my experience with Clint Eastwood. He wanted to know what the heck it was, but I wasn't telling him.
Tell us about some of your favorite actors you've worked with, and are there any stories that you would like to share about working with certain actors?
Well, I've worked with Tommy Lee Jones a couple of times. We did a show. What was that one? Oh, I'll think of it in a minute. Anyway, we're leaving the set and we're walking over to have lunch, and this guy kind of steps out and goes, "Hey man," and with a paper in his hand, and Tommy Lee went right in his face and stopped him. And I said, "Tommy Lee, that guy just wanted an autograph." He said, "He's drunk." I said, "I don't think so. I think he wanted an autograph." So we go over there and sit down. And we're having lunch, and we're all sitting around there talking. Tommy Lee's having lunch with us, and all of a sudden we hear bang, 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 gunshots. And it's not movie gunshots, it's real gunshots. And that guy who was sticking his hand out to Tommy Lee Jones had just escaped from jail. And they were out in the parking lot trying to apprehend him, and he was shooting at them. So he was a crazy guy, and Tommy Lee was right. And he said, "I told you that so-and-so was crazy." So that was my Tommy Lee Jones story.
And you've also worked in a lot of TV. One of the most notable examples is the famous finale of MASH. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Well, I had such a small part in that I just came in on 2 days, and it was not like a sitcom where you're there all week. And I met Alan Alda. I had a scene with him, and then the lady, I don't know her name, that we were supposedly having a little love relationship, and he came to check on her and came to her tent, and he realized I was there, and I kind of made fun of Alan Alda, which he didn't like too much. But that was my experience. I really wasn't on that MASH set like I was a lot of other sets, but it was quite amazing how slick and fast everything worked on that set because they'd worked together for so long.
And to that point, what are the shows that you had a bigger role in? Can you tell us a little bit about some of those shows? But which shows did you have a bigger role, and what was it like working on that?
Yeah, okay, I was in Will and Grace for 10 episodes, and that was a lot of fun because it was a sitcom, and I enjoyed doing comedy. And then I was on one called The OC, and because I was on those shows, I became popular with the young people. And in The OC, my name was Gordon Bullet, and I would say, "That's Gordon Bullet with a bang." And so the kids all got to kind of love that idea, and everywhere I would go, these high school kids, junior high kids would say, "Hey, Gordon, bang," everywhere. In fact, I was going through the airport one time, and like a 10-year-old kid goes, "Gordon, bang." I said, no, not in the airport, please. So the OC was a lot of fun. Will and Grace was a lot of fun. Those two, I was regular roles in those episodes.
And tell us a little bit about what ignited your passion to go into acting, and like how'd you get started?
Accidentally. A friend of mine, Cooper Huckabee, who was my roommate, was trying out for parts at the theater, and he would come over to my place, and I would help him rehearse for the roles and try to help him get a part. And that's when I got interested in acting. And then I knew he wasn't that good, so he went out to LA and was doing pretty well. He invited me out. I went out and went to a movie set and met Angie Dickinson, who was like the Scarlett Johansson of that era, and got to meet her and a bunch of people on the set. And then my wife, having been a Miss Mississippi and had done a couple of commercials and stuff, so she was game. So we decided we're going to LA for a couple of years, and we'll if it works, fine. If it doesn't, we'll come back. But we got out there and we got it going, and stayed 22 years.
And the last question I have for you, what are you hoping that students or community members that come here tonight, what are you hoping that they'll get out of your segment of StoryFest?
Well, I hope they can hear sort of what I went through and how I went through it, and give them some ideas if they want to pursue that career. I'm also a teacher. I teach acting, and I'm also a writer, and I'm going to talk a little bit about projects that I have. I got one called Bed Bugs right now. We just got the budget on it. I had a play that was made into a Dolly Parton movie, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So I think they'll hear acting and writing and potential to do both and how to do it.